Okay, so before I even begin this video, please don't let Elvis distract you too much. He's playing on the beach and is way too cute, but please try and stick with the chin wag. Alright, back to the video. Good morning everybody. Welcome back to another chin wag. So while Elvis is going crazy on the beach, I want to talk to you guys about solo travel. Something I've done a lot of and still do within my own country usually these days. But when I was on my own, I did a lot of solo travel and thoroughly enjoy it, you know. And many people have asked me why I don't talk about my solo travel and promote it and talk more about solo travel in my videos, which is true really, because I've done a fair bit, you know, and I would love to encourage other folk to do it, and especially the folk that want to do it but are a little bit afraid of doing it, you know. It can be very daunting, especially if it's your first time to go anywhere on your own. I understand that totally, you know. We've all had to do that. We've all had to go through that, you know. So the first time I did a solo travel was when I first went traveling back in 2009, and I ended up going to many countries. I was away for nearly 2 years, but I ended up in, the first country was Thailand, in Bangkok, and I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't have any real contacts there. I had one contact in Thailand, but you know, he wasn't living in Bangkok. So I threw myself in the deep end, folks. I really threw myself in the deep end, and it all worked out perfectly. Personally speaking anyway, you know. And from that moment on, that gave me such confidence to go to other places by myself. And the things I've learned by being by myself, as well, you know, the differences between traveling solo and traveling with a partner. There's some quite big differences, you know, different experiences that you will have, and I think they're beneficial to be a stronger person, to be more confident in yourself, to yeah, just to do something if you want to do it. And if you don't have any friends that are willing to do a trip that you want to do, then you'll have the confidence to do it, you know. Yeah, and another thing, I mean, generally you'll meet people think you're going to be lonely when you're solo traveling. I hope you guys can hear me, by the way. It's very windy today. The wind is blowing towards me, so hopefully the microphone is all good. But yes, many people think that you're going to be lonely when you solo travel, you know, because you're going on your own and you don't have any friends going with you or family or whatever. But it's actually the total opposite, depending on how you decide to stay, where you stay. For example, if you get an Airbnb by yourself, then, you know, you'll meet people in restaurants, bars, things like that, but you're not likely to meet people obviously in your accommodation. So my first suggestion, if you're gonna go solo for the first time, or you're just worried about not, you know, being a bit lonely, is book yourself into a hostel. Now I know most people see hostels as for young people, for teens, and, you know, the young travelers and all of that. But that's not necessarily true, you know. You can get some really nice hostels with some nice double rooms or a single room to yourself, so you don't have to stay in a dormitory. You don't have to stay with other travelers and live the hard life like that, you know. You can get yourself a nice little room, but you'll have the vibe and you'll have the social impact of the hostel, you know. So in the evenings you'll be around people, and most travelers, I would say, a lot of travelers anyway, are traveling solo. So when you're on your own, what I found is when you're on your own, more people generally come up to you and start talking to you than if you're in a couple. Because if you're in a couple, people generally don't come over because they just think you're a couple and you want to talk between yourselves, and, you know, unless you make yourself obvious and you start chatting to other people, then of course, which is like what we're like. But you'll meet so many people in the hostels, you know. So if you're going on your first trip, find a hostel for the first few days, get the feel of it, and you'll be surprised of how many people you're going to meet. And you're going to wonder, why didn't I do solo traveling before? Why haven't I done it sooner? That's what you're going to start thinking. Now, like I said, when I started solo traveling, a bit later on after that, I went to many countries. If you've been following my channel or you've been following my Instagram especially, many countries on my own. Some would deem unsafe, or why are you going there? What's there? What do you want to see? Well, I love culture, you know, like I really love immersing myself in cultures that might not be interesting to other people, but to me it's very interesting. So to go to these places, I'm not going to find many people that I want to go with me, you know. So I have to go by myself, and I'm very happy that I'm like that, and I'm very happy that I do go by myself to these places, because like I say, you have some amazing experiences on your own, you know. Don't get me wrong, I love traveling with my partner, I love traveling with people. I don't like traveling in big groups, if I'm to be honest with you. I don't mind it, but you just find that you've got a bit of confliction with where you're going to go. Unless you've got a solid plan of what you're doing, that's all good. But if you're doing it on a whim with a big group, can be a bit sketchy, personally speaking. Maybe that's the selfishness in myself, I don't know. But I like to go to places and do what I want, you know. So, but going back to the solo travel, I recommend it highly, and it'll give you confidence to go, like I've just said, it'll give you confidence to go anywhere else in the world then, you know. It can, like, yes, it's scary, but it's also very beneficial, and you also get, sometimes you'll get privileges on the plane. Not so much these days, since they've gone a bit stingier, but like when I first started doing solo travel by myself it was like 2016, 2017, quite often they'd give you extra drinks because you're traveling on your own. You let them know that you're by yourself, and you know, they'll often give you a free beer here and there, or whatever drink you want. Yeah, they just generally treat you a little bit differently, used to, and that's just some airlines as well. Some I didn't get any benefits, so to speak. But yeah, there's many advantages. You get to do what you want, you get to go where you want, when you want. If you want to stay in bed one day for some reason, you can stay in bed one day. If you want to get up real early and see a sunrise, you've got no one that doesn't want to do it with you, kind of thing, you know. You're just by yourself doing your own thing. And to be honest with you, it can become a little bit addictive, a little bit like, not addictive, but you start really enjoying it, because you just, like I say, you can just do whatever you want. There's no one to answer to, there's no one to, oh, should we do this, should we do that? There's none of that, you know. I mean, Fabiola, my partner, when we travel, we don't have them qualms with places that where we're going to go and what we're going to see. We're both very similar like that, you know, so I'm very fortunate in that way. But I do know there are partners out there, or friends that go away together, and they end up having little disputes because they, you know, one wants to do one thing, one wants to do another. There's none of that, you know. So anyways, that's my little bit on solo travel. If you've got any questions about it, or you want any advice, then hit me up in the comments section, or email me at welshgingerhobo@gmail.com. I'm always willing to help solo travelers and promote it. I'm absolutely all for it, so if I can help you in any way, I will, you know. You don't need to take any specific things. You need to be safe, you need to keep yourself safe, obviously. You need to be a bit streetwise, you need to, yeah, just have your wits about you in certain places, you know. That's just standard to me anyway. It's common sense, you know. It's just pretty much common sense. But as far as being lonely, that's the main issue that most people have, is that they think they're going to be lonely, and you know, but you're not going to be lonely. You've got your family and friends on the end of the phone if you want it, you know, if you want a bit of someone to talk to. But you won't, I don't think you'll feel like that. So go and do a bit of solo traveling. How you could get into it first, just travel in your own country, go somewhere for a long weekend by yourself. So say for example in the UK where I'm from, go and book a week down in Cornwall or something, or a few days, somewhere you want to go, so you're not too far away from home. If you do get a bit that feel of loneliness, then you can just nip back home, you can go straight home, you know. So start small, start somewhere in your own country, see how you get on, see how you enjoy it, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I'll put my money on it. Sportsman's bet. All right, sportsman's bet. Okay folks, well I'm going to enjoy the rest of the beach here for a while. We come down here every morning if I can, while I'm here in Mexico. Elvis loves it, he's chilling there now. He's got a stick now. Anyways folks, until next one, take care and have fun. Peace.